am so sick and tired of being right, Magnusites, and you not believing me. I told y'all for a long time that Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill might come back. I told y'all before when you didn't believe that the Snyder Cut didn't exist. And it did exist. I told y'all that it definitely might come out when people were saying it wasn't going to come out. And it did come out. I mean, I told y'all that somebody out there could play the Joker as good or better than Heath Ledger, a.k.a. White Joaquin Phoenix. I'm tired of being right. I told y'all that sooner or later, they've already crossed over in the comics. I'm telling you, I told y'all, once DC's up and running, sooner or later, they will do one in the movies. Because that's nothing but money. All the fans will be in the theater for that experience. What does the Cosmic Wonder have to say?
What is going on?
Tired of being right.
Back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and no, I am not over-exaggerating in the title. It looks like a Marvel versus DC crossover is entirely possible and actually has a chance of happening. It could even be in development at Marvel Studios right now. Of course, very early development, in the stages of just being talked about, which we actually do have a confirmation of, which of course we'll talk about in this video. But this is kind of the dream. Marvel and DC crossing over. Iron Man versus Batman.
I knew it would happen sooner or later.
Superman, Thanos versus Darkseid, and we can go on and on. Wonder Woman, She-Hulk, Black Widow, Aquaman, all of these awesome characters could be on the same screen together. Now, of course, they've done this in Marvel Comics. We've had Marvel and DC crossovers. We never really thought it would happen on film, though. However, not too long ago, and
we're gonna have one more. Zack Snyder just said he can't wait to work with Henry Cavill again. What does that mean?
Marvel. And today we have confirmation that was indeed true. And as it turns out, things are kind of lining up perfectly for it to happen, because James Gunn was just announced to be the new sort of Kevin Feige over at DC.
Nice go-between.
He is co-CEO now. And obviously James Gunn has huge connections with Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige. They love each other. Of course, James Gunn has directed all of the Guardians of the Galaxies, including the holiday special and the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He has done an amazing job with that franchise. But he has also done amazing work over at DC, directing and writing quite possibly the best things to come from DC, like The Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker by far is one of the best series and just projects in general to come from DC, period. That show was amazing. And that's James Gunn. And so today, an old interview that James Gunn did with Jake's Takes for The Suicide Squad is re-emerging, because in this interview he confirmed that there have been talks about doing that crossover, and now James Gunn is co-CEO of DC Studios, which means the Marvel-DC crossover has a very real chance of actually being made. Listen to what James Gunn said in this interview with Jake's Takes about his thoughts about a Marvel-DC crossover film.
I'd be happy to do a Harley Quinn and Groot movie. That would be exciting for me. And not only have I thought about that, but I've actually talked about that to the heads of both Marvel and DC. But you know, it's like they, you know, everybody's open to everything, but whether anything would ever happen, who knows? But the idea of being able to bring Marvel and DC together in a movie that would be really fun for me. And I know it's exciting for even the heads of Marvel and DC to think about Kevin Feige over at Marvel and Toby Emmerich over at Warner Brothers. Like you know, it's something we all like to dream about. Whether we could ever get through the barrage, the Berlin Wall of lawyers we would need to get through to make something like that happen.
You can do it.
But it would
You did it with the comics, you can do it.
So as you just heard, this is something
it's my first time actually ever seeing him
wants
speak.
to do, and has brought up to both heads of Marvel Studios and the head over at Warner Brothers. But the only difference now is there is a complete change in leadership over at Warner Brothers. In fact, it is now Warner Brothers Discovery. And they have now created a separate entity titled DC Studios. That's the name of this new company. And James Gunn has recently been named co-CEO of DC Studios. And rightfully Rightfully so. Like I mentioned before, he has done amazing work for DC. Not only that, but he has worked extremely close with Kevin Feige over at Marvel Studios, making amazing films and directing the amazing Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. So this is quite literally perfect for not only us fans, because now this has the chance to actually happen, but for James Gunn. James Gunn said both people in charge of Marvel and DC/Warner Brothers were open to it, but now he is one of the only people who could actually make the call to make this happen. And he has publicly stated that he wants it to happen and has even brought it up before in the past. And the fact that him and Kevin Feige have worked together for many, many years is fantastic, because this means that they love working together. I'm sure they learn from each other, and since they get along well and typically share some of the same visions, getting over all of that legal stuff won't be exactly too hard, because it's easier when you're with somebody you like. And Kevin Feige has stated many times in the past before, and so has James Gunn, that the studios get along. They look for each other.
Like
They're not against each other by any means. And it's not like Marvel wants the Justice League to fail because they have the Avengers or vice versa. In fact, it's been stated many times that Kevin Feige has called the people over at DC and has congratulated them on some of their successful films. So this is now incredible news, because the possibility of having that Marvel-DC crossover is incredibly real. And although this is extremely new, James Gunn just became co-CEO over the past few days. The fact that he's brought this up before means that he most likely will bring it up again, and bring it up to his old buddy Kevin Feige over at Marvel Studios. So while I don't think that it's going to happen anytime soon, I do think it is a possibility for the future, especially with Secret Wars coming up. And keep in mind, we are in the multiverse saga. I even stated way back before Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness came out, where I thought it was going to travel into just so many more universes than we actually got, that it was possible for them to go into a DC universe, and we could have even seen Batman or Wonder Woman. Obviously, that didn't happen, and the movie was on a much smaller scale than a lot of us thought it was going to be, but it's possible now, which is super exciting to think about. I'm not saying Batman's going to show up in Secret Wars, that's not going to happen, but a crossover film could definitely be in our future, and I'm really, really excited for that, and I hope it happens sometime within the next few years. Heck, I'd be excited if it came out before I died. But let me know how excited you would be for this in the comments down below. Let me know all your thoughts. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date on all Marvel-related news. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching.
Woof woof.
Woof woof.
I bet you all the fans, the older Marvel fans, the guys in their 60s and 70s that saw something like Infinity War and Endgame and even like Civil War were like, what? We never thought we would see this. I bet you probably within the next 10 years we'll see a crossover. That's what I'm thinking. And I mean the latter end. I don't think in the next 3 years, no. I think in the next 10 years we're going to see a crossover movie. I bet you. I bet you. If not, we're still going to get one. Okay? Tired of being right, folks. Post comments down below. Let me know what you think. Is it going to happen or isn't it? 10 million subscribers. Subscribe to the Cosmic Wonder. Woo!